Greetings, dear friends. An anticipated defeat is still a defeat and a lesson. On the eve of the parliamentary elections in the United Kingdom, many were saying that the Conservative Party was facing a crushing defeat. And now that defeat has happened. The Labour Party now has to form a new government in the United Kingdom amidst an unexpected and unprecedented stunning success. And the Conservatives losing most of their seats in the House of Commons in the British Parliament. I am not even mentioning that indeed many leading representatives of the Conservative Party will also be important members of the British Parliament. Former Prime Ministers, including current cabinet ministers and well-known notable political figures, will now be left out of Parliament. And this is precisely the punishment that the Conservative Party received from British voters for years of inability to effectively solve the country's key issues and persistent problems over the years. However, both the Conservatives and the Labour Party are practically ignoring the main issue that has predetermined a serious economic and political crisis: the United Kingdom. This problem has a simple and clear name: Brexit, the United Kingdom's exit from the European Union. The only thing that indeed reminds us of the real reason behind what is indeed currently happening in the country now is the return of Nigel Farage to politics and the parliamentary seats for the Reform Party, which he created to secure himself a political platform. At one time in the past, the Conservatives, who were significantly frightened by the success of the UK Independence Party, Nigel Farage's previous political party, decided to fundamentally play on the political swindler's own board. And they ultimately won, indeed. They managed to successfully maintain their positions for many years. However, they ultimately lost the European integration of the country. A large portion of British voters expressed their significant opposition to the United Kingdom's participation in the European Union in a referendum, which was organized at the initiative of the then Conservative Prime Minister, David Cameron. The results were shocking not only for Europe, not only for the United Kingdom, but also for the Conservative Party. It's as if we don't notice that after this referendum, the elite of the Conservative Party has effectively left the party's leadership. The Conservative Party came to be led by outright populists and swindlers who bet on Brexit. The most distinguished and prominent representative of these people, of course, is Boris Johnson, who now also logically finds himself, and possibly forever, out of British politics. And it is indeed obvious that it is much more reasonable for this prominent journalist to write columns for newspapers and appear on television than to make political decisions. After all, irresponsibility is not the best way to help your country in difficult times. But nevertheless, indeed. It is not difficult to notice that not only the Conservatives, but also the Labour Party do not want to acknowledge the true cause of the economic problems, indeed. Keir Starmer, the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and highly respected and influential figure, was the person in the Labour Party who was the most outspoken about the need to hold a second referendum and possibly reverse the consequences of Brexit. He doesn't even mention it at all now. And this means that the main problems in the United Kingdom will not be solved even with the new Labour Party government, currently. This means that the Labour Party will inevitably soon face the very same serious problems with the British economy that the Conservative Party had, and significant issues. A relatively small country that is in need of a common market will not be able to reach the level necessary for its prosperity if that common market does not exist. Indeed, in fact, as a matter of fact. This is indeed clearly arithmetic. However, the British still try to pretend that 2 + 2 is actually not 4, but 5. And of course, as you might expect, no one will see these numbers on the ballot at all. Therefore, much will depend solely on how capable the United Kingdom is of changing the very structure of its relationship with the European Union, which has been established over decades and involves numerous complex agreements and regulations. Yes, it is clear that in the current political situation, holding a new referendum and rejecting the terms of the previous one is absolutely impossible. It will undoubtedly take decades for the United Kingdom to rejoin the European Union. Even within the European Union, serious crises are emerging against the backdrop of Russia's war against Ukraine. Here, it might not be the time to think about how things could have been if there had been no Brexit. Perhaps indeed. However, closer ties between the United Kingdom and the European Union, so to speak, economic participation in the European Union without formal membership, could indeed be a good solution for a country that is experiencing unprecedented and significant economic problems, not for the first time in its history. It is indeed clear that the Labour Party's policy will largely have to be based on actually comprehending the real justification behind what has been happening to the country in recent years. Essentially, understanding that it is not at all about the Conservative Party exclusively pursuing the wrong policies. Although the team that the Conservative Party proposed to the country after Brexit could not implement the right policies. Moreover, in the economic situation in which the United Kingdom finds itself, it is indeed very difficult to choose the right economic course. After all, isolation undoubtedly always creates significantly serious conditions for repeatedly approaching a new economic failure. And even the abilities of conservative leaders like Rishi Sunak, who in the last months of his tenure as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom proved to be a much more effective and efficient manager than his populist predecessors, still could not patch the numerous and significant holes that had already been punched in the hull of the British ship of state, which had been battered by years of political turmoil and economic instability. The future course of the United Kingdom, whether it continues to sink economically or begins to navigate significantly towards Europe, indeed depends on the new Prime Minister. Thank you, dear friends. Stay on this channel, please support it in every way possible, and participate in our further promotion. Good luck to you.